Hi and welcome to another edition of the Vinyl Record Collector. Today I'm going to talk about a band from the 1960s, very active between 1966 and 1968, pretty much by 1969 when their last official album was released. The band had split up. It was one of the original supergroups, and I'm talking about a three-piece band that you will all know called Cream. This was their first album, Fresh Cream, and my version is an Atco stereo version of this. It does say on here that this was originally released in England on the Reaction label, distributed by Polydor Records, and this is actually a 1967 edition. Okay. It's in great condition. It has a card, what you would call a hard card outer cover, so it's not terribly flexible. It's not a gatefold, and it has the Atco label. I don't think for a minute that this is the original liner. It's far too white. Something that survived over those years is not going to look that colour. Nice condition. The tracks on it, well, it's got I Feel Free, it's got NSU, Sleepy Time, Dreaming, Sweet Wine, several live staples of Cream on there in the shortened original studio versions. On side 2 it's got the famous track, I guess, is Toad, which is features quite a good long drum solo when Ginger Baker particularly played it live. And then the other tracks are Cat Squirrel, 4 Until Late, Rolling and Tumbling, and I'm So Glad. So there was only one original track on side 2 that the band wrote. The rest of them were blues staples. And on side 1 we had 3 tracks by Jack Bruce, I Feel Free, NSU and Dreaming, but then Ginger Baker wrote Sweet Wine. So it was a pretty good first effort for the band, and we shouldn't have been surprised because, you know, they were considered at the top of the game, and that's where they got the name from, really, because they were the cream of the crop, if you like. And in fact, the originally they were going to be known as The Cream, but they dropped that to just Cream. So there we are. It's in great condition. Very happy with that one. I think I bought that on eBay many years ago. It was later reissued with a slight track change, the addition of Spoonful as Full Cream, which Polydor issued on their 99 label. And it has NSU, Sleepy Time, Dreaming, Sweet Wine and Spoonful on side 1. Side 2 is exactly the same. So again, it's a nice issue. This one does have the original lining. Okay, so it's on the Polydor label, and it's a good heavy pressing as well. Nice sounding album. In fact, the production on Cream I thought was generally very good for its era. So that was their first album, including the reissue. The second album that they came out with, really famous for its cover, apart from some great tracks. It's got Strange Brew on this, it's got Tales of Brave Ulysses, Sunshine of Your Love. It's considered by a lot of people to be just the absolute tour de force, the best album that Cream ever produced. I don't know, their albums are a little bit kind of mixed. I mean, this has Mother's Lament on it, which is a kind of fun little piece sung by Ginger Baker at the end. But this is an 1841 Broadway pressing, SD 33232. It's a nice heavy pressing. The cover's not in great condition. It's split. It's not a gatefold. It's starting to look like a gatefold now. But the psychedelia of the time was really quite evident, and the album itself, it's in the original liner. I always loved to get these liners when they had all the different albums on. I'm sure you guys do this as well. You go through them, you think, oh, I've got that one, I've got that one. So that's quite neat. And here we are, there's the label. A nice album. Again, a good weight and a nice pressing, nice clean sound. This is one of the few albums I don't normally, as you know, those of you who watch me a few times, I don't normally keep my albums directly in here. I've got all of the slip covers down here, and later on I'll put them back in there. I don't think it protects albums from wear very well, keeping them in these original covers in that way, but just for the sake of speed today. So the other week I was in a supermarket and I bought a reissue. So this is half speed mastering, and it's unopened. I probably should have bought two and listened to one of them. I haven't listened to this, obviously it's unopened, and still in its original shrink. There's a part of me that I'm quite happy with the sound of the original album, but I suppose as a collector I like to have a copy of this, and I know from experience, if you don't open these and you hang on to them for long enough, I guess it's going to be worth some more money. It doesn't make any difference because I'm never going to sell it, so I guess after I've died somebody will get the benefit of me not having opened this. I'll probably buy another one just to see what that sounds like. But there we are, it's exactly the same album but half speed mastered. Would be interested to hear how that sounds. If any of you have got that album on half speed and you played it and had a chance to compare it to the original, please comment, let me know. Third album by Cream, Wheels of Fire. I love the cover as much as anything else when it originally came out. Famous tracks on here. Well, this is a mixture of studio and live. So on the studio, I mean, they have White Room, but then they have tracks on here again. They have Toad, they have Crossroads, they have Spoonful, Born Under a Bad Sign, Politician, Jack Bruce, Politician. This is a gatefold. This is an original gatefold. This is on Polydor RSO, actually. I think, yeah, this is an RSO. But there's the internal gatefold, the inside cover. And the liners on my copy are these kind of anti-static poly bags. I don't know, I mean, they work. This is in great condition, so I suppose they've done their job. I haven't really looked to see how old this one is, but again, if you're going to collect Cream, there's not that many albums you have to collect. It's not like, you know, you wouldn't really call them prolific. I mean, they reprocessed and repackaged a number of songs anyway. And then the final studio album by Cream is Goodbye Cream, which again has Politician, has Badge, has Sitting on Top of the World. Tracks that you've heard on other Cream albums appearing again on this album, and then inside this gatefold they have the title tracks on Tombstones, because by this time the band really wasn't getting on at all well, and the history of Cream is that even though Ginger Baker, it was his original suggestion to Eric Clapton that they form a band, and Clapton agreed with that and was really excited by it. He said he would only do it if Jack Bruce would be the bassist in the band, and that was kind of bad news for Ginger Baker because he and Jack Bruce did not get on at all well. They were together in a previous band and had pretty much come to blows, and I think the story is at one stage the only way Ginger Baker could get Jack Bruce to leave was at the point of a knife. So you could say that these guys didn't get on very well, and if any of you have seen the documentary of their farewell gig, you'll know that part of that is a discussion of just how loud Jack Bruce was playing, and one stage Clapton just stopped playing entirely, and he said the other two didn't even notice. So I guess there were musical differences, you could say. It's another Atco album. It's a stereo version. The liner I have, which I believe is original because it's nicely kind of discoloured with age, is just another Atco album. Again, good heavy pressing. Atco seem to do this all the time. Just a nice heavy album. So I'm very fortunate that my Cream albums are in truly exceptional shape, and they still play extremely well. So that's a good thing. Let's put that one away. So after the studio albums, what we got into then was kind of live and repackaging. And I don't have everything that came out after the studio albums, but I do have for me, the most important one of them. And I have a couple of versions of this. I've got Polydor version of Live Cream, and I've got here the Atco version of Live Cream. And the sad thing is, my Polydor version, which I bought from eBay, I didn't pay a great deal for it, maybe 10 quid, is an A1 B2 pressing. It's a first press, and it looks immaculate, but unfortunately it's got a really bad heat kink. So it's obviously been badly stored or maybe left by a source of heat. So not only does it kick and make the stylus skip on the opening track, which in this case is NSU, but it also distorts because it's not completely concentric. So you get this kind of slightly wow sound, wow on the track, which just makes it really irritating to listen to. So fantastic album. I think the best versions of all of these tracks, which is essentially all taken from the first album, NSU, Sleepy Time, Lordy Mama, Sweet Wine, and Rolling and Tumbling, are just excellent. The NSU track is 10 minutes and 13 long, and Sweet Wine is 15 minutes and 8 seconds long. So they were really the extended live versions of this, and I just think they're absolutely phenomenal. There's the source of so much of the unhappiness in the band, the Marshall stack that Jack Bruce used to use, and that I guess became a feature, just how loud Cream used to play. The only other Cream album I've got is a compilation called Heavy Cream, which has got one of these kind of slightly irritating flip up tops, very often in very bad condition. Mine's not too bad, and this one has it's a double album. It's on the Polydor label, and again, very heavy pressings. So good, you're getting a good piece of vinyl with these, which it just makes them sound good. It makes them, you know, I guess maybe they're even deeper cut. And these are pretty much near mint condition. Not even any spindle marks. I was very fortunate to get this in this condition, but Side 1 is Strange Brew, White Room, Badge, Spoonful, and Rolling and Tumbling, the original studio version. And then on side 2 is I Feel Free, Born Under a Bad Sign, Passing the Time, as you said, and Deserted Cities of the Heart. And then on side 3 is, again, tracks from previous albums, Cat Squirrel, Crossroads, Sitting on Top of the World, SWLABR, What a Bring Down, Tales of Brave Ulysses. And then on side 4 is Take It Back, Politician, I'm So Glad, Sunshine of Your Love, Those Were the Days, and Doing That Scrapyard Thing. And it's a good compilation. If you want the studio tracks, then it's probably one of the best compilations out there, unless you resort to CD, and that's not what this video is all about anyway. So there we are. That's my Cream collection. I think for any of us that were around in the 60s, the influence of Cream, considering they only produced 4 albums, the influence is just astonishing. And I don't think you would have had a lot of the blues-based bands like Led Zeppelin. Certainly bands who were supporting them when they were live, bands like Deep Purple and Yes and Rory Gallagher's Taste, really getting a good amount of exposure to the public, the blues buying public, the blues rock public. By the time Cream were finishing, I think they were starting to produce things which were kind of beyond just basic blues rock. But certainly, even if you had the 4 albums plus Live Cream, I think that represents just a fantastic selection. My only criticism is that you do get a certain amount of recycling. Hey, but if you're a collector, you end up wanting them. I haven't really been tempted to go out and get everything that was recycled afterwards, all of the compilations, all of the live albums. I suppose eventually I will accumulate them, but for now, these really 7 albums, I'm quite happy with them, and it gives me plenty of listening pleasure. So there we are, that's my collection of Cream records, and don't forget to subscribe, leave your comments below. If you've got favourite Cream albums that I haven't talked about, let me know, and I'll maybe get hold of them and even do a review of it. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.